Hey guys, since that Star Trek Into Darkness is coming out next week, I thought that I would review the Star Trek reboot, Star Trek. Let's do this. Star Trek. So Star Trek takes place in an alternative reality of the Star Trek universe. It begins as the USS Kelvin is into uncharted territory when this big ass ship, which turns out to be a Romulan ship of high-tech stuff, just attacks the USS Kelvin out of nowhere. Nero, the main captain of the Romulan ship, basically says, hey, I will cease fire if you come to my ship and enter negotiations. So the USS Kelvin's commander promotes Kirk, his father played by Chris Hemsworth. So after the USS Kelvin's captain goes onto the Romulan ship, he gets asked some questions only to realize that these guys are from the future, in which Nero savagely kills the USS Kelvin's captain. So after this happens, just all-out war happens between the Kelvin and the Romulan ship. You can pretty much tell that the Kelvin is pretty much screwed on arrival. Along with this, Kirk's wife is giving birth to the baby, which will be James Tiberius Kirk, played by Chris Pine. I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of emotional watching the back and forth between Kirk and his wife just trying to make it together. That really did hit me. So Kirk sacrifices himself along with the ship to save 800 lives, including Kirk's mom and Kirk. So then years later, James Tiberius Kirk, due to his father not being there, he grows up to be a really rebellious adult, but still, he is still very, very smart. So after a bar fight that happens, Commander Christopher Pike, the current commander of the USS Enterprise, asks Kirk why is he wasting all of his potential of just staying behind and to sign for Starfleet. So 3 years later, Kirk decides to take the Kobayashi Maroon for the third time, and so it reveals that he cheated the test. Kirk is put on academic probation. We meet Leonard McCoy, played by Carl Urban, Judge Dredd himself. Kirk is put on the USS Enterprise after Leonard injects him with a vaccine that does some pretty messed up things to Kirk. While Kirk is sedated, Anton Yelchin's character, I can't remember the guy's name. There are so many people on the Enterprise that I won't be able to remember every single name. After Anton Yelchin's character describes what looks like to be a lightning storm, Kirk all of a sudden wakes up and remembers it being the same situation that happened on the day he was born. So he goes to warn Captain Pike, and it turns out it's a trap laid out by the Romulans. Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise are trying to stop Nero of the Romulans. Alright, so guys, just to let you know, I have never been really a big Star Trek fan. I was always the Star Wars nut. Just like J.J Abrams. I had never seen a single Star Trek movie, not the motion picture, not Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, Final Frontier, Undiscovered Country, Nemesis, if I'm forgetting one. Oh yeah, The Next Generation, I think. Although I want to see Wrath of Khan very, very soon. Just to clarify, Star Trek, the J.J Abrams version, like I said before, is the only Star Trek film I've ever seen. I gotta say, for being a newcomer to Star Trek, well, I did see this movie in theaters when it came out in 2009, and I was blown away from the very first time we saw the Romulan ship. I was like that dude from 21 Jump Street when he was on the HFS chemical. I was like that guy when I saw the first glimpse. And I'm a huge fan of J.J. Abrams, even though I've never seen Lost. To this day, J.J. Abrams has not let me down with a single one of his films. He is capable of proving that he is not only a great visual person, but also a fantastic storyteller. The thing I loved about J.J. Abrams' approach to making Star Trek was that he didn't want to make Star Trek really about more for the Star Trekkies, but he wanted to make it for moviegoers. When it came out, not only were moviegoers blown away, but Star Trek fans were just nerdgasming in their seats. Now, because of J.J. Abrams' version of Star Trek, I am now a Trek fan. The acting all around is top-notch acting all around. Chris Pine gives an outstanding performance as James Tiberius Kirk. Even though I've never seen the original Star Trek, I can't really say if he beats William Shatner, the god of all gods when it comes to Star Trek. Zachary Quinto as Spock. Holy crap, he was amazing. Carl Urban does a great job as Leonard McCoy. Simon Pegg does a phenomenal job job as Scott Montgomery. He is absolutely friggin' hilarious. For I also remember John Cho was in the movie. I can't remember what his character's name was, but he was also great. Anton Yelchin did also a fantastic job. And Zoe Saldana also did a great job as Euthura. She also has a bit of a romance with Spock. For all the Star Trek fans, Leonard Nimoy was Spock Prime, as he is called. Everyone in my theater when I first saw this was like, oh my god! I remember the line that Kirk says when he goes like, I am Spock, and when he says, bullshit. All the acting all around is top notch, even from Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry actually gives a good performance. When it comes to Star Trek, you really have to have some amazing effects, and J.J. Abrams, you could tell he was on his A game when bringing with the visual effects, because when I watched it earlier, Star Trek, the visual effects looked absolutely mesmerizing. J.J. Abrams did a fantastic job of directing this movie. Another thing I absolutely loved about this movie was the score by Michael Giacchino, whatever, how you pronounce his name. He provides such a phenomenal score. Like, once you see the Star Trek logo, you hear that I got so many goosebumps when I saw that in the theaters. And even the first battle scene got me in goosebumps, which reminds me, the cinematography in this movie, brilliant. Enough said. Star Trek is a fantastic reboot. So overall, J.J. Abrams gave the Star Trek series an incredible reboot that was much needed after the crap that was Star Trek Nemesis. Even though I haven't seen it, I heard it was terrible. He gives us a fantastic reboot that takes place in a great alternate reality of Star Trek that has fantastic acting all around, mesmerizing visual effects, a fantastic score, even a great appearance from Leonard Nimoy. That's a reboot that not only moviegoers will love, but it's also one that Star Trek fans absolutely love. I wasn't a fan of Star Trek before I saw this film, but after seeing it, J.J. Abrams has made me a fan without a doubt. And I cannot wait to see Star Trek Into Darkness. So I'm gonna give the Star Trek reboot a 5 out of 5 stars. It is without a doubt one of the best sci-fi films I've ever seen, and one of the best reboots I've ever seen. And J.J. Abrams, I cannot wait for Into Darkness. And so comment down the below of what your favorite Star Trek film is, if you can pick one besides Wrath of Khan. And until I see Star Trek Into Darkness or Fast and Furious 6, which I'm seeing next week, I will see you guys next time, and live long and prosper.
Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.